So I've compiled 7 ways you can move to South Korea with little or no money at all. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary and this is Mahupe Studio, where we talk about opportunities and how you can access them, especially abroad. I request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, follow. If you find this video helpful, please share it so that someone else might get the information as well. I'm hoping to hit the 1000 subscribers by the end of this year, so I ask you to support me by subscribing and recommending others to my videos as well. There are visa types that will allow you to stay in Korea for more than 90 days, and that is the D series visa. That is D2, D4, D6, D10 and such kind of visas. Then we have E visas, H visas, and so on and so forth. There are so many types of visa that will allow you to work, stay, study in South Korea. But the focus of my video today is not about visas. It's about the common and easy ways you can move to South Korea, of course with visa. So the first way you can move to South Korea is as a student. And in this category we have 3 groups where you can go to study language, Korean language in South Korea. So you'll be a language student. And then there is the regular student, going to do master's or undergraduate degree with D4 type of visa. And then there is a exchange students transferring from your university in your home country to South Korea, and that is through D2 visa. And you can find more information about this in the Korean government scholarship website, where there is opening every year for masters and undergraduate opportunities. And in this category there is lots of information you can get, because you get scholarship. They cater for the air ticket, they cater for the visa, they cater for food, they cater for everything. And once you are in South Korea, you can always, after graduating, after finishing your courses and things of that kind, you can always change your visa type to another status. That is, you can decide to change it to D10, which is job seeking visa, to a job seeking visa. Or you can decide to apply the F2 special visa, which is also called independent visa. And this is a very special category. I'll talk about it at the end of the video, so stick to the end of this video. The second way you can move to South Korea is as a foreign language teacher. That is through E2 visa. So the E2 visa, unfortunately or fortunately, is strictly for the people groups who come from the English native speaking countries. If English is your first language and you come from the countries mentioned above in my previous video, remember in my previous video I mentioned there are 7 countries where the Korean government considers or acknowledges as the English speaking countries, and find opportunities in EPIC and Talk. Talk is Teach and Learn Korean, though that program has officially been shut down due to coronavirus. So it no longer exists, and even though it has been there for more than 13 years now, that is it. So you can check the EPIC website, where there is opening since the 23rd of August. So if you're coming from the countries, the Ireland, the United Nations, the UK, the South Africa, you can always check on that website and find your eligibility to apply for the opportunity. And the third way to move to South Korea is as an au pair. Even though au pair has age restrictions, you need to check in their websites and find out more about the age restrictions for you to be an au pair. It varies in countries. So for example, like in South Korea, you should be between 18 to 30 years, if I'm not wrong, though you need to confirm and check. So with au pair, it's again free. the host will sponsor your visa and things of that kind, and then you'll end up earning some money and experience in the process. And then the fourth way you can move to South Korea is when you are transferred by your company. So, for example, let's say you're working in a company that has its branches in South Korea, like Amazon or whichever company it could be, and then you get transferred to South Korea. That is an easy ticket to experiencing the South Korean life, which is fun to explore and experience actually. The fifth way you can move to South Korea is through religion. That is a D6 type of visa where the host church or religion group will kind of help you apply the D type visa, whereby they just send you the confirmation form that you will use to go and apply for the D6 type of visa at the Korean embassy in your country of origin. So for my case, it was more of a missionary service. There are lots of opportunities to serve as a missionary or as a church worker or as a mission, whatever you want to call it. It's a pastor, a preacher, whatever the term you'll use. So you have to have links or coordination or connection with a religious organization in South Korea or any other country that has coordination with religious churches or organizations in South Korea. So in this way, they'll communicate between themselves, and then your role is just to to send the documents they ask you, and then they will help you to apply the visa directly to the embassy, to the immigration office in South Korea, and then they'll send you a tiny form, like a one-page form called confirmation form, which you will take to the embassy, and then you will receive your visa. It's that easy, and though it's complex, it sounds like an easy way of moving to South Korea, but it's somehow complex. So I used, and you can use different mission organizations. So I used a mission organization called Global Ministries or General Board of Global Ministries. If you want to know more about this organization, please be sure to write me a comment or a question in the comment section, and I'll be sure to talk about that, or rather to answer that. So the sixth way you can move to South Korea is through summer programs. These are programs and they're all over internet, by the way. Just need to find the legit websites. There are organizations, or rather websites, where you get opportunity, especially for young adults. I'll say for youths, whether you are in university or senior year of high school, in this program you get to move to South Korea, whether it's paid. Sometimes it's a paid program, sometimes it's free, so you just need to be informed of that. And you get an opportunity to move to South Korea to learn their culture, to teach English, to explore, to travel, to experience the culture and the food. And then after the period of summer, you have to go back to your country, or rather you could get a school where you could change and be a student, or whatever that you decide to do with that opportunity. Another way you could move to South Korea is through F-City visas. If you have a relative in South Korea, or if you're married to South Korean, that kind of a thing, you could move to South Korea, and that is an easy ticket you can use to move to South Korea, though you have to sponsor yourself or your family, or whatever the way. It's just a way I thought I should include in this, now that I'm talking about ways you can move to South Korea. So another way you can move to South Korea is through H1 holiday work visa. And with this kind of a visa, you'll need to finance yourself as well. I recommend you to watch Pirate Dan's video on how to get a job in South Korea. He talks about he got a H1 type of visa and then he moved to South Korea in 2019, and then he hustled and finally he got, you know, a place to work and he got hosted. So it needs nomad. If you ready for a nomad life where you travel with your bag, your life in your bag, that's a good idea. You can try that. You'll check that video and learn more from him, his experience, and how he overcame the low wage income and survived and moved from Seoul to Busan and things of that kind. I really liked his interesting story. His name is Dan Pirates, or Pirates Dan. You can check on his video on YouTube and then you'll be good to go. So I promised that I'll talk about the F2 visa. You know, there are two types of F visas. The other F2 visa is related to family. Like if you have a family, a spouse, a sibling, a husband, wife who is a Korean, you can get a visa through F2 visa. But then there is another special type of visa called F2. Is it F21 or F22? This is the type of visa whereby you qualify for the residency in South Korea. So in this category of visa, as long as you have stayed in South Korea legally for 1 year, you can apply. You can do the test, the Korean proficiency test, and then there are some other points that they check. Like if you are older than 30 years, you get higher points than if you are younger than 30 years. And then if you're paying the Korean taxes, and if you know, they're just, if you can speak Korean, if you understand the Korean language, if you understand the Korean culture, and they'll test you that through, you know, exams. So if you qualify, you can get residency. That is called freedom visa, because then you are not tied to marrying a Korean in order to be freely resident in South Korea. So that's a good idea. That's a good thing. Definitely check on that. If you're in South Korea and you're legally there and you've stayed there for more than a year and you don't know about this type of visa, you can check on it. So wanted to talk more about the D10 type of visa. I told you this is a job seeking visa and it's very hard to find, especially if you are not in Korea. If you're not, this is a visa specifically for students who studied and graduated from Korean universities and have good skills. You have skills and experiences and knowledge that can help the Koreans themselves. You will get high chances of acquiring this type of visa. But if you're outside Korea, so you need to be working on a business startup that can somehow benefit Koreans. So that means for you to be working on a business startup, you need some good cash, some good amount of money. But don't lose hope. I hope this information was helpful. Just feel free to reach out to me through the comment section. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking to me to the end of the video. Consider subscribing, liking if you find this video helpful. I'll see you in my next